Ugh, pets bring so much joy into our lives. They boost our well-being, but the costs of owning them, those have never been higher. In 2024, the average dog parent is expected to spend somewhere between around $950 to more than $4,000 per year on their dog. Robin Thompson is a money expert. She is with us again on tips on managing your pet finances. Welcome.
Yes, good morning.
Listen, we are in a time when every penny counts, and these pets are part of our families, but we need to figure out the cost and how to keep them under control. More than half of Canadian households right now have a pet. So the financial impact of pet ownership is huge, something everyone has to consider. Could you share what happened to your pet, Scout, first of all, as we start this conversation?
Yeah, so I am a pet parent, 100%. I mean, my cat is like my little small love bug. And
what's your cat's name?
Her name is Scout.
Okay.
So, and she had a massive ear infection in both ears.
Okay.
So, you know, there's the cone.
Aww.
So you can see the cone of shame that comes
Yes.
on. So, and when these things happen, you know, she started scratching, but then all of a sudden she scratched so much she started bleeding.
Oh.
So it's one trip to the vet,
Yeah.
and then it's another trip to the vet, and then it's medication, and then it's x-rays, and then it's what's really going on underneath it is a bigger problem. So pets are amazing, but they're also a huge financial responsibility. So thank God she's great now, but it was definitely a costly endeavor. So as you go through this process, it's important to remember that pets give you love, but they also need to be looked after financially.
We call Zebby our most loved depreciating asset because
Yeah.
he's expensive when things go wrong. Listen, why are things getting more expensive to take care of our pets? Why is that happening?
Yeah, and honestly, it's inflation. So when you think about inflation, inflationary pressures, although they've eased in other sectors, they are still rampant, especially when it comes to the cost of pets. So the veterinarian perspective, so veterinarian services actually up 10%. 10%. That's the second highest spike on record in the past 2 decades for veterinary services. Also, we're seeing things like shortages for manufacturing for food and medicine. And when that comes into play, you're starting to see some of that shipping shortages, but we're also seeing a big demand for premium pet care products and premium pet care food. So for food, so when people are buying premium pet food, what that is that increases demand. So as demand continues to increase, prices continue to increase. So it's that supply demand curve. But inflation is a big component here.
Let's break down the cost a little bit further. So what does it cost to own a dog in 2024? And then what does that cover?
Yeah. So the cost of a dog has increased 55% year over year. Yeah, I have that number
I feel
right.
that.
55%. So when you look at the cost, that's everyday expenses. So that's things like you can see up here on the screen. So that would be things like food, poop bags, vaccines, all of the things that it takes to have a dog on a regular basis is up 55%.
And then also you've got on there end of life, which is an important thing to consider.
End of life. End of life is a really big thing. So you look at things like euthanasia, or you have things like cremation, or even medication for senior pets, all gets very expensive. And then when you look at what it costs to bring a pet home for the first time, that's actually up 44% since this time last year. So that's things like the vaccinations, the neuters, the bed, all of the things you need to bring a pet into your house. So these are some significant costs, especially when you're seeing these 55% increase, 44% increases, 10% veterinarian increases. So across the board, pet ownership is real expensive.
Okay, up 55% for dogs. What about cat owners?
Yeah, so cat ownership, fortunately, is a little more affordable here in Canada. So it's really about, it's probably, I think it's between 240, I think it's actually, we'd actually have some boards here too. So it's 930 up to 2,400 for the cost of an average cat. So again, it's not as much as a dog, but it's definitely one that needs to be taken care of. So when it comes to being a pet parent, we need to understand there are financial ramifications or financial obligations that we need to make sure we're taking care of if we want to keep our furry companions healthy and happy for a long period of time.
So then how should we approach managing our pet finances?
So, there is the budget, and when we come to budgeting for pets, it's important to look at it and understand how much do we need to budget for our pet. And you'd be shocked at how many people go into pet parenting and actually have no idea of what it costs to take care of a pet. So things from food, grooming, medical costs, you want to compare prices across the board. So take a look to make sure you're getting the best prices on whether it be litter or whether it be cat food or all of the different types of products you need for your cat or your pet. And then take a look at pet insurance. And sometimes people think of pet insurance and they're like, oh, pet insurance, I don't really need that. But what happens if your pet gets really sick? So they need emergency veterinary services. If they get really sick with something like cancer, they have to stay overnight at a hospital.
Right.
Those prices can really add up. So a cat, somewhere between 20 and 40, and for a dog, somewhere between 35 and 95 a month could cover you for some of those major expenses.
You know what? It's a really good set of numbers to remember. At minimum $1,000 you're in if you want to have a pet year over year.
Minimum, exactly.
All right, Robin, you always bring us great information. Thanks so much.
You're welcome.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked this, be sure to subscribe here, or you can check out more Your Morning videos right here.